High above the mountains, where the air feels thinner and silence speaks louder than words, lived a young, golden-brown eagle who had wings strong enough to touch the clouds, yet a mind heavy with doubt, fear, and negative thoughts. An eagle who believed that the world was unfair to him, that fate had chosen others to succeed, while he was meant only to watch from a distance, standing on the edge of the cliff every morning, feeling the cold wind brush against his feathers, yet never fully trusting it to lift him higher, because every failed attempt from the past echoed inside his mind like a warning telling him to stay grounded, to stay safe, to stay small. While other eagles flew freely across the sky, gliding with confidence and grace, he compared himself endlessly, measuring his worth against their success, slowly convincing himself that he was weaker, slower, and not good enough, allowing comparison to poison his thoughts until it became heavier than gravity itself, dragging him down before he even tried. Each fall from the sky became proof in his mind that he was broken, and instead of learning from failure, he feared it, replaying every mistake again and again until his confidence shattered piece by piece, and the joy of flying turned into anxiety, making storms feel louder, nights longer, and hope more distant with each passing day. Even when the sky was clear and the wind perfect, he hesitated, because the real storm was no longer outside, it was inside his thoughts, whispering that he would fail again, that he would fall again, that he should not even try. And so he waited, watching life pass by while standing still, believing movement was dangerous and dreaming was foolish. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and slowly the young eagle forgot what it felt like to trust himself, until one quiet evening, when the sun painted the mountains gold and the sky burned with warmth, an old eagle landed beside him, calm and steady, carrying the wisdom of countless storms in his eyes, observing the young eagle in silence before speaking gently. "Why do you blame the wind when your wings remain still?" Words that pierced deeper than any fall, shaking something inside the young eagle that had long been asleep. The old eagle continued, "You believe your problem is the sky, but it is your thinking that cages you." And in that moment, the young eagle realized something painful yet powerful, that his wings had never been weak, but his belief had been, that his failures were not proof of weakness, but lessons he had refused to accept, and that negative thinking had slowly stolen his courage without him even noticing. That night, as stars filled the sky, the young eagle sat alone, reflecting on every moment fear had stopped him, every time doubt had whispered lies. And for the first time, instead of hating himself for failing, he chose to understand himself, realizing that positive thinking was not about pretending everything was easy, but about believing he could grow stronger even when things were hard. And with that realization, something inside him shifted quietly, gently, like the first breath before flight. As dawn broke over the mountains, the young golden-brown eagle felt something different within himself. Not confidence yet, but curiosity. A small spark questioning the old story he had told himself for so long. And instead of waiting for the perfect wind or the perfect moment, he decided to test a new way of thinking, whispering to himself that maybe this time he would not judge the outcome, only the effort. And as he stepped closer to the edge of the cliff, his heart raced. Memories of falling rushed back, but he chose not to fight them, understanding that fear was not an enemy, but a signal. And with one deep breath, he reminded himself that every strong eagle had once struggled, every master of the sky had once trembled, and this thought alone made his wings feel lighter. He jumped, not to prove anything to the world, but to prove something to himself. And when the wind lifted him only slightly before dropping him back onto the rocks, he did not curse the sky. He did not call himself weak. Instead, he observed, adjusted, and tried again, realizing that positive thinking was not magic, it was discipline. the discipline to speak kindly to himself, even when the outcome was not perfect. And day after day he returned to the cliff, sometimes flying higher, sometimes falling sooner, but each attempt strengthened his wings and quieted the voice of doubt, replacing it with patience, replacing fear with learning. Storms came and went, and instead of hiding, he watched them carefully, understanding that storms did not exist to stop him, but to teach him timing and control. And slowly, the sky that once terrified him became familiar, even friendly, until one powerful morning when the wind roared stronger than ever before, and the young eagle, now calmer and focused, spread his wings without hesitation, trusting not the wind alone, but the mindset he had built through repetition and belief. And this time, he did not fall. He rose higher than he ever had before, cutting through the clouds, feeling freedom not as luck, but as earned confidence, realizing in that moment that nothing outside had changed. The mountains were the same, the sky was the same, the wind was the same. Only his thinking had changed, and that change transformed everything. As he soared across the horizon, he understood the greatest lesson of all, that positive thinking does not remove struggles, it changes how you face them, that the mind either becomes your cage or your wings. And as the sun painted the world in gold beneath him, the young eagle no longer feared falling, because he finally trusted himself to rise again.